a team that we saw just storm through lobbies last year, just win time and time again, and they have found 2 chicken dinners here on the final day of EWC to put themselves in the driver's seat, to put themselves in position to finally get that big one.
But the EWC curse has been big game, go out early. This is a team we know whenever we look at Twisted Minds, they play smart, they play safe. I'm not expecting it, but we've had some absolutely wild circles that might make it hard.
No, you're exactly right, Matt. It has been kind of a weird situation that teams will find themselves in sometimes, but I think if there's any team in the world who can hold on, who can keep that pole position, it is Twisted Minds for sure. But we still have one more map, one more Erangel to go to find out who are going to be our EWC 2025 PUBG champions.
This is a smart lobby, and now Twisted Minds has a target on their back. If they get a kill, if they get a knock, everybody's gonna spin that direction, realizing they could be the ones that take down Twisted and give themselves a chance to win this whole thing. Plane is up and in the air. Destiny is in your hands. Who can manage to take it? Gen.G drops early. Goes Zarky. Plane path very far to the north.
All right. Are we going to see another northern shifted circle here? As this time, though, Twisted Minds isn't getting out towards that Kameshki-Stalbert area. The plane path doesn't lend itself to it, so it's to their other drop spot of Lipovka they go. But there is still a lot that can happen here. There are still teams who, if Twisted Minds don't put up many points, or if they do the unthinkable and get 0, that all of a sudden the door is wide open, and there is going to be a bunch of people trying to get through it, trying to claim that top prize.
And who's the team that's going to be closest to them? Falcons. The squad that has managed to win Gamers 8, has managed to win the Esports World Cup here before. Riyadh has been where they found their biggest successes. A circle pops, stays center, keeps them a military base island, but most teams are going to be expecting it to stay on the main island itself.
All right. I'm pretty curious about the Falcons here, actually, with this wide 2-2 drop that they go for around the shelter, around Mansion, you know, avoiding any kind of situations early where maybe somebody gets caught on their own. It's going to be very, very key for them in this as the circle center. It's fair. It's about as average as you can get for now. God forbid we have another situation like we did on Tego where there's a whole bunch of hard shifts down to the island. I doubt that's going to happen. This one feels like it's going to be normal, but we do have an interview with Fancy from Twisted Minds. Let's see how he's feeling.
Hi guys, I'm standing with Fancy, Managing Director of Twisted Minds, and your team in PUBG has just topped the leaderboard. How excited are you for the team?
I mean, we are in Rocket League stage right now, and I keep looking at the screen, checking the PUBG score, but we're very close to get the whole thing, and with what happened last year, it's the best way to end this year's PUBG.
Right, and you know, it took them a little while to warm up, but the Twisted that we know is back. Did you get a chance to talk with the team before they had started the day? Like, what did you say to them?
No, I haven't gotten a chance to see them today, but a few days ago, they were calm and confident, and they said that this year we're going to make it up, and we're going to take that trophy, and it seems like they are actually doing it.
Yeah, we are just one map away from finding the EWC champion. Well, good luck to Twisted Minds. Thank you, Fancy.
Thank you so much.
Club championships on the line, and if there is one squad that knows how to win on the big stages, it's going to be Twisted Minds. Opposing side of that, the underdog story, the guys that have been fighting tooth and nail, Santastico, who's been in the hunt for MVP. Everything has been slipping slowly and steadily from them, but they've still put on an absolutely crazy show this event.
No, you have to be so impressed with Rock. I mean, it's just heartbreaking to see them all the way down in 10th, considering how well they played yesterday. But it just goes to show you how unbelievably competitive this lobby has been. A team that is going to be on people's radars going forward for the rest of the year for PUBG Esports, because they have proven that they can get it done in the biggest moments on the biggest stages.
I feel so bad for Rock because they stepped up in the biggest way for the first time, really starting to find their own. And then the whole lobby was like, nah. I've got something left in the bag too, and just really started the chase. Gen.G the closest to Twisted right now. Back behind them, VP, the Freaks, tied up 1 point. Behind them is the Expendables. Falcons, after a big game, still wants to see it, but it is such a big jump from these other guys. You got to feel like if Twisted falters at all, is the only opportunity, except for maybe Gen.G, VP, Freaks, the Expendables.
Hard to say for sure. It
This
just
could go any way. I don't know.
So much of it depends on what Twisted Minds does in the early part of this game. Like, if they're able to find any points at all, it just starts to cut teams down that have any hope of getting a big, let's say, 15 kill chicken dinner or something like that. That's 25 points, but that's not going to be enough for a lot of these teams now, because you go all the way down to, let's say, T1, where you're 23 points out. So every point they get just continues to set themselves further and further apart, give fewer and fewer teams an opportunity, a chance in this lobby. So I don't know, dude. So much of this is just predicated on what our leaders are going to do.
I mean, I'm with Avenger right now. Is you got to find yourself a BRDM, maybe find yourself some safety and a rotate. Nothing else is going to feel good, because this is just going to be scary. I mean, really, with all the changes that we've seen come into this event, whenever it's been the BRDM that really has, I guess, significantly changed some of the meta.
We call it the Battle Royale Destiny machine. That thing just sends you in and gets you that win.
Battle Royale driving meta.
I like that. I like that one too. Yeah.
Destiny machine's pretty good too, though. Although, I think, in fairness, AGL's been getting it a lot, and it hasn't been working out. If one squad I would think could use it, all you gotta do is just stack up, jump out, and shoot stuff, right?
It's easier said than done, for sure. I mean, so many teams understand that there's that delay when you get out of vehicles that is so punishable.
Yeah.
And so, you just, the thing about the BRDM is it's a little more flimsy than you probably think. Getting in it, you feel like you're invincible, you're driving around, but, a couple players that, God forbid, somebody has like a machine gun, an MG3 is even worse. Like, those will just chew through a BRDM quickly. But it's more about just, positioning. Obviously, the Panzers, everybody knows about that. We've seen it time and time again, but there's a lot else that can kind of come into play with those.
The 2-1 is often called the smartest man in PUBG. He's making a path. He's got an idea. They're going to be running up right next to Lumberyard. Rock's already entrenched here. Santastico going to be the guy that spots Twisted first. Right in, but Tulin's going to take some damage, and he does go down early. That's a quick flush. Santastico realizes who it is. Shots come out, and everybody in the lobby just saw one member of Twisted go down early. Bell finds another one. Does the curse continue? 2 members down for Twisted.
Well, for Rock, this was their only hope of maybe winning this event. They still have a chance, and to knock Twisted out early, that's it. But the thing is, this is on the edge of the circle, and there's still going to be chances for Twisted to regroup and maybe, just maybe, get those blue chips or something like that. But for now, it is disaster early. It is everything that could have gone wrong for Twisted has. This lead no longer comfortable. That last win, all of a sudden, a distant memory, as you have to get things settled here in the final game.
Rest of the circle, dead silent. Nobody is even shooting at each other. There's no real need to control space right now. Gen.G wrapping very far over to the west around that GAC shark fin position. T5, the other team that's not yet in the zone. VP up into the northwest, just now crossing over the river island. So everybody else centered up, and now it's going to be Twisted, the odd team out, very far over into the east.
Now, teams that still are very much in the hunt, like Gen.G, become a point of interest. VP, the Freaks, the Expendables, the Falcons, all close enough that they can do damage, that they can get there. It is still a journey. It is still looking like it has to be a chicken dinner or just one of the biggest kill games you've ever seen. And Gen.G is going to be coming in late. Western edge, south towards the ferry pier. No one within about 1 kilometer of them, so they have time, they have space, but they are unlikely to be anywhere near the next couple of circles.
Well, Loris has been talking about it. Yeah, I mean, we've seen some big plays coming out from Flame, from Orca, but this has been a very consistent team today, finding big points time and time again, double digits over and over. He's been harping on it, making sure that everybody knows, because they're presently in second. 2 members out for Twisted. Gen.G has some momentum that they can work with over here, but they have no clear path into the circle, and this is going to be a bloody one. Everybody is starting to rise up realize if somebody gets close to you, that is a point, and 1 point matters big.
Precisely, Matt. You are in a rough situation potentially as Gen.G, but with how consistent they've been, who knows? Maybe this is their moment. Maybe it's time to get, finally, after such a long drought for the organization, another win in PUBG esports. It hasn't been since PGIS that they have found a win in a big event. Now, it was only one of those weeks that they won. They didn't win the whole event. That was the now Falcons team, but there is still hope.
That's the first shots at Gen.G from a very tail-ended duck juice that was looking, gets a bit of damage, but now Gen.G is going to run to that hillside. They've got to be careful. All the rest of the members for the Expendables are going to be just to the north of them. New circle's going to pop. Where are we going to go? Is it going to stay centered? Is it going to be mean?
Wow.
It's pretty mean. It keeps that bridge down to the southwest.
That is madness. Another hard shifted circle that's keeping a ton of water in it here today. Everybody gonna have to be scrambling that was on that eastern edge.
Look at the north, my God.
Oh, it's gonna get wild.
Stacks of vehicles all up on top of each other. Gen.G's got themselves a little cubby hole that actually feels pretty good in the circle for right now. I mean, we've got what? Freaks, Petrichor Road, T1, I can't even see them all. VP, everybody's just running right up on top of each other. It's just drive-by fiesta. People being picked off. Nothing really big happening just yet, but everybody's having to stop, realizing this has got a bit heavy over into the north. Rock has a path back behind it. Falcons are even looking like they might be pathing into this exact same location. 17, the Expendables, in good point already. GSW with another beautiful read on the circle, going to be in a great spot. And AGAL, they have nowhere to go. They just have to run right down in front of Gen.G.
Oh boy, this is a committed position, but Xiao Wu is hitting bolts from afar. That could be dangerous for Gen.G. The good news for them is there's no real way for AGAL to punish this initially. They have to go way uphill. I'm not sure if they could even get a grenade that far. They're trying to think about it, trying to keep them pinned down momentarily. Destroy's got an angle on it. There go those grenades, but they can't quite get there. They're just short.
I mean, AGAL is literal fish in a barrel right now down at the bottom of this cubby, but Gen.G can't do anything with it. They're afraid. Every time they go for a peek, boy, they just get popped right in the face. Nades raining down. Don't hit where they're going to want to. Mask going to slowly creep over. Destroyers is going to pick him up, try to run for the cover of the hillside itself to see if maybe they can get some break points. Lines away, 17, watching a lot of this. A lot of teams are coming in. Tosi spots out Isaki, trying to see if he could get an angle to get some type of defense back in, but Gen.G spots it out easy.
You got to be so careful here as Gen.G. You know that there's that bolt from Xiao Wu, and he's got the distance dialed in. Decent damage on that grenade. They're looking for the flush onto Hisaki. Can't quite get it just yet, but Tosi's got a bolt of his own, and he's looking to try to keep 17 pinned so the rest of Gen.G could finish off AGAL.
Do note the Freaks managed to pick up 2 kills just a second ago, so that puts them tied up with Gen.G right now. AGAL doing a great job on surviving. So that means that Gen.G can't really focus in on a lot of what the other stuff that's going on. Luckily, they don't have anybody really near them at the time being. The nades just not really connecting the way that Gen.G wants. This is a lot of utility, a lot of economy being burnt right now for the squad that's in the hunt for first.
Exactly, dude. I am worried about Gen.G in the later stages of this game, because even trying to get out of this spot, if more and more teams start to cluster around this southwestern edge, then they're going to have a harder and harder time getting out of this position, because there's going to be a lot of angles onto them. Yes, they've got cars there, but it's going to be tricky. There's plenty of open space for teams to punish them.
Quick update, Perfectix and Example are actually moving to the military base island, the only squad that's opting to do it. They've run to try to get away from everybody else, realizing that this could be a really dicey circle. Maybe there's a world where they can wrap in from the south using that bridge. Maybe the RNG gods will bless them and shift down to the south, stay along that bridge line. It could give them something to work with. Red zone right in the middle of the circle. Gen.G, AGL in a bit of trouble if it decides to be focused in and Twisted. The dream may stay alive.
I'm very curious if Twisted was able to pick up those blue chips or not. They could angle for one of the res stations. Maybe the one in Sosnovka military base is what they're considering. That is very much on my mind, but the middle of this circle is getting absolutely chaotic. Yeah. More and more teams have to make drives. Toyo, the Freaks, driving through the center right now. Up in the air is Na'Vi in an emergency pickup.
Freaks on the hunt right back behind Toyo. We have VP, Petrichor Road, Falcons, T1, Rock, change the game. They all have to move. AGAL still just trapped along this hillside, but there are a lot of different moving factors as the Freaks look like they're going to be trying to find some kills of their own. It's going to be Toyo very close. Gen.G, you got to finish this up. It's got to happen fast. You know that you need to focus it. Instead, they're just going to go ahead, try to see if maybe they can get a bit higher ground on them. Look down. Bean also has dropped down. They realize this is taking too long, but Tycon at least manages to get the drop onto Tosi, but finally Gen.G gets it done.
He's not safe there. If there's somebody still in that compound, we know that actually 17 left it and went for the 6-pack. So they're center circle, they're safe. Red zone doesn't cause any casualties to Gen.G. That was a big concern for me. The Freaks, meanwhile, have settled up at the gas station crossroads. They got just ahead of Na'Vi, trying to drop in from their helicopter. T5 settled up in the compound that's to the north of the Skinny Tree Forest, but now it's defense. It's all eyes towards Na'Vi here for the Freaks. They want to lock this down, and they should be able to, as long as they don't make any mistakes, no slip-ups. This is a team that very much still in the hunt. They are only 13 points out of it, or excuse me, 11.
Emergency pickup has been called. Falcons are up in the air right now, soaring over everybody. They're going to be just dropping into a circle that's got a ton of water, a ton of fields up into the north, and just the hillsides that people are trying to hunker down into. The 6-packs right along the coastline, east of where we see the Freaks playing from, and where 17 have now got their new position from, and they're going to have a lot of vision in. I don't know where the Falcons are going to drop in, but it looks like they might be eyeing the far southwest. That's going to be up on top of Na'Vi and the Freaks both. Roughly the same time, it looks like Twisted is going to be crossing the bridge. This could be perfect timing. If Falcons could be the distraction to allow Twisted to get into the circle, that would be nuts.
Yeah, they're going to have to take a moment to heal up, though, and they're just dropping right on top of the Freaks. This is a huge battle on the roofs, and it's Shrimsy who's got DL down and out quick.
Oh my God, Falcons make landfall in the biggest of ways. This is a great point to be playing from. Up into the northeast, we've got Rock, we've got VP. They're getting into a big dust up over there, but this is a big one for points right now. It's slow, it's steady, but if Falcons can secure in, Freaks are now in a troubled position.
The Freaks are going to have to tighten up the ship, and like you said, the Twisted Minds players might still have a role in this circle. Going to hard shift up to the northeast. We are losing a lot of that water, as you kind of expect, but for the Freaks, for the Falcons, this opens the door for Na'Vi, who looked like they were going to be in such a troubled position trying to get into a new circle, and they at least have opened a little bit of space to make some rotates or at least camp on top of these two teams.
If you're a Twisted fan, it just feels like the circle is going the opposite direction of everywhere they go. Hard shift down to the southwest. Now it's a hard shift up to the northeast. Every single time you think that people are going to get settled, it just pops a different direction, and everybody is just having to stay on their feet. We've got a death funnel brewing between the Falcons, Freaks, Twisted, Na'Vi, T5. All big teams whenever we look at the capabilities of what they can pump out. Now, Virtus.pro looking into where Rock's going to be at. This is our northeastern firefight that could be brewing. Petrichor Road's going to be right back behind this. So Rock has to be very careful, as well as what we can see this push coming up from VP.
This is scary town for Rock. They've got a bunch of teams around them. CTG just passing on by. VP only down to 2 players, though. Their hopes of getting through this game with big kills, big points, all but lost as Petrichor Road sneaking up on the backside. And you've lost a player here as Rock. Virtus.pro gone.
Oh, Salute got a knock on to H-Win as well. Nades starting to come out both sides. Just look at the curves coming out. It's a ton of throwables coming out from the Falcons to try to stop everything off. Salute handles it, though. That mini red zone not going to be enough to stop the Freaks just yet, as Guman has snuck up right on top of the Falcons.
Couldn't get the grenade to go because Shrimsy was on the outside. Tiggleton trying to hold the line. They're throwing a bunch of util his way. But the Molly's in front of the door, and 17 has an angle into this fight. I'm pretty sure they stole the knock there from the Freaks. That's denying them that point. Tiggleton trying to do what he can. Guman's got a Saiga in hand.
Knock, knock. I've got some goals of my own. Kickstart so far away right now. It's just Tiggleton trying to hold this back behind. He's caught up in the middle of everyone from the Freaks. Panzer coming out at the start. Little ghost spotted. I'll take. He's got no cover to go with. But Tiggleton does get the knock. But in return, Guman instantly pops him with the shotty.
Problem is, Phase 4 Blue is right here, right now. So you're going to have to find a way to maybe Try to get Guman back up and running if you can. Not sure if it's possible. Twisted Minds eating more and more blue. Example stuck while Perfectix is trying to find his way through. He knows Lil Ghost is up on that rock. Lil Ghost has been shooting a ton from up there. Rock is gone off screen. They're done. They're out.
Okay, Twisted running, using the distraction of the firefight. Falcons still looking back at the Freaks right now. Gen.G has hopped in vehicles. They've sent it across. They're going to be lined up. Same compound with 17 Gaming now. Twisted, there's not a lot of good ways to go through this because they're going to be on the other side of 17. Everything hinging down here into the southeast right now. This is absolutely nuts. Perfectix can't really step in.
This is huge. They just got a kill. Example found one as the Freaks were trying to get out of here. This is all but disaster for the Freaks. Their hopes of winning this event dashed, gone, because the Falcons dropped on top of them and completely stymied their ability to fight and leave this location. And Twisted Minds now all eyes onto Guman. They want to claim this last point, give themselves some breathing room.
Oh man, realizing everything that's at stake. Freaks are a heady team. They know that if it's Twisted taking shots, this is the squad that they also have to take out. Falcons down to 2 in a very bad spot. They've got Toyo just over to the north. T5 also with some vision. The Expendables are also trying to gatekeep out multiple teams into the northeast. Potential for a ton of kills for them, but it's just become an unlikely alliance between Gen.G as well as 17 Gaming right on top of each other. Picks between the two, and it's going to be Guman that gets the knock onto Example. There is no Perfectix to be had around them to try to get any res. It's all onto Perfectix now. Crash comes out. Toyo gets instantly dropped by T5.
It's a quick look back at what happened to Rock as they just get shredded by Left from Petrichor Road. Has been a quiet finals for Pero, but Left being the heartbreaker for the Americas region. And Perfectix has gotten towards the edge. He's trying to sneak underneath 17's hillside, hoping he can find a way through. Kickstart getting some big kills for the Falcons, but it's going to take oh so much more for them to get into contention again. Xiao Wu continuing to just be an absolute monster with the M24, but Kickstart trying to do more damage.
Let's see, not a lot of cover. Kind of juke through. Luckily, Capitan is on the other side of this. He's looking a different direction. Falcons trying to see if they can secure another point to get something going. 17 Gaming runs, they charge in, they don't want Gen.G next to him. Orca, Fiend, both down right now. Therathon 5 is eliminated. Falcons manage to take them down, but Gen.G trying to cling to life right now, knows the push coming out. Petrichor Road, I think, also spotted this. Chewy, look at this, T1 also looking back down. Perfectix is in the circle as well.
Oh, that might just be enough here, especially if 17 can deal with, oh, that grenade bounced off the top of the window. But if 17 can deal with Gen.G, it should all but be assured. The Freaks are gone. No more chance for them to win this event. The hopes of Korea, the hopes now lie onto Gen.G, who are trying to hold on. Some stuns coming in as T1 showed up to the party. Tosi showing up as well, but Lil Ghost responds.
Everybody wants it. They know who they need to take out. T1 right back behind this one has cut off so many lines of approach. Gen.G down to just 1. Looks off into the distance, spots it out. Heather knows where he is. Nate comes out. Flame in some trouble. Oh man,
boy.
oh man.
This is taking a bit of a pause here for Flame, but he is unlikely, I think, to get Bean at this point. T1 has shown up to the party, and they dashed 17's hopes as well, but for Gen.G, tons of kills again. They're going to put up what looks like another double-digit game, but it's probably not going to be enough. Perfectix has found his way through. Only a couple more teams before he starts getting into placement points to further cement that lead that they have created for themselves. What unbelievable scenes for Twisted.
Gen.G's Flame has T1, 17 Gaming, Petrichor Road, and Twisted all next to him right now. We've got solos fighting for the top of the leaderboard between Twisted and Gen.G, and it is absolutely nerve-wracking. Heather does spot out Chewy, so that opens up something, but this circle is going to be pretty open. We haven't had a chance to talk about it as it's going to be changing the game's window right in the middle.
One thing to consider right now is there is still a world where the Expendables win this. They could come up with a chicken dinner and huge kills, and they can actually close the gap. Falcons have hope, but they also need to basically find a way to get into that win. But my eyes are on the Expendables with 4 players up still, a decent position in this circle.
We're just now getting into placement points with 8 teams alive, 17, all that's left. Just 17 players. There's not a lot more kill points to be had in this one. Flame trying to see if he can get some type of cover to work around. Perfectix spots out Little Ghost, manages to take him down. It looks like Little Ghost was trying to sneak in. He gets caught out of this one. So Gen.G's Flame still just trying to cling to life, but Perfectix and Twisted find another point.
Yeah, Flame has no idea where Type went. Thinking maybe he's still inside of this yellow, but around the corner, Type's holding the angle. A good peek from Flame. He's just running at him, wants to run him down, and he holds the trigger through the flash. It's actually the blue that gets the kill, so it is not a point going over to Gen.G, but Twisted Minds is in the placement. Twisted Minds is in the driver's seat.
Looking at the circle, the Expendables have some friends right next to him. It's going to be GSW playing off the hillside in front of them. Expendables Delwyn has crept down. Falcons are already inside the circle as well as Toyo, but Perfectix in his shack, still alive. Imagine having to cling to life as a solo, fighting for the survival of your squad, holding the top of the leaderboard, but now you have 11 points of breathing room. Just 5 teams, 12 alive. Can he do it? Can he stay alive for long enough?
Both the teams that are still in contention here, the Falcons and the Expendables, need Perfectix eliminated now. That is a big knock from Xiaotong though. Duck Juice in trouble. Tanvu spotted behind the triangle. Ming not able to find what he wanted, but Tanvu repeats, gets the knock.
Expendables not going quietly into the night just yet. There's still a ton outside of just first place. A lot of points, a lot of money, everything that all these teams hunt for at every big international. Still, you want to get it. You want to secure as high as you can. Peeking around though, Kickstart does get the knock on the Ming, but Trimsy down, getting quickly flushed out by Capitan.
Still though, the Falcons able to make something out of nothing here in this game, giving them what looks like maybe a third place finish. Circle over towards the west, over towards Toyo. We're just going to lock things down. That is going to remove Perfectix from his shack. He has pushed out to the hillside, wants to look and do more damage.
He's nowhere near the safe zone right now. It's going to be Toyo, Kickstart, the Expendables as well holding it. But we have game, start, win. Multiple members still alive. They've got the momentum. They're holding out the Expendables, but that's a problem for Perfectix. The Expendables want to get inside the safe zone, but they're being corralled more down into the south. Game, start, win. Can't find angles. Finally spotted out. Gets some damage on Tanvu. Peeks back up into Duck Juice. Doesn't get a knock onto either one. CC really wanted that, but it's going to be Xiaotong that does manage to get the knock onto Duck Juice. Can they get control over the circle now? Can we see somebody fight it back? Perfectix spots out Delwyn. He's got to stay alive. He's trying to cling through it. He finally goes down. Is it enough?
I don't know if there's enough points left in the lobby here for the Expendables. Oh my goodness. What an absolute run. It is going to be Tanvu getting knocked here after he took down Ming. Game, start, win, maybe taking the final chicken dinner. The last breath of life for anybody to catch Twisted Minds seems to be fading. Delwyn stuck behind a tree. Toyo trying to make something happen here.
Game, start, win with so much control. Delwyn, so few options. It's just shoot your way in. That's the only thing that you can do right now. Spots out Rebo in his position. Doesn't manage to get anything else onto him right now. Full retreat coming out from Toyo. That hillside and that smoke providing just enough. Gonna drop down some utility to see if he can get the stun. Peeks back around. Doesn't quite get the knock. Has to retreat back into the smoke, but that's gonna put him right in the line. Game, start, win. Running down the hillside. Here's the firefight. Capitan takes down Delwyn, and that's gonna close up everything up at the top.
We know who's winning this event now. It is unavoidable as GSW beginning their march towards victory. Ribo gone, one left here. Capitan in trouble.
Game, start, win. Runs down the hillside. They spot it all out. They know where Capitan is. They're just throwing everything they've got at him. Capitan can't quite manage to get more. He's gonna go down. Game, start, win. Take the round.
But they are unavoidable. They are inescapable. Your 2025 EWC PUBG champions are Twisted Minds! Minds.
They fought their hearts out. That was not an easy game in the slightest to secure points from. Massive second to last game, but then it was damage control the whole way, clutching up, finding a safe path into the circle, sneaking his way, stealing kills. That is Twisted Mind. Never give up, never surrendering it.
Absolutely brilliant play from what looked like a disastrous start for Twisted Minds, and in front of the hometown crowd, they get it done here in Riyadh. Unbelievable.
Riyadh has been the home of the Falcons for years, taking victory upon victory here. And look at Twisted. They know exactly how this all went down. Picking them up, cheers, smiles all around. These guys fought their hearts out to get there. Big respect to Twisted Minds for performing in one of the hardest grand finals I have ever seen.
You can see what it means to the fans, what it means to the org, to get this big win. Finally, the big one for Twisted Minds comes. You knew that they were just going to get there. And this roster has proved themselves time and time again.
Look at the disappointment on so many faces. It was so close for so many teams, coming down to a nail biter at the end. Back and forth, so much between everything, but it's just a set of errand gulls that decided it all. That is so heartbreaking for so many.
Yeah, it is. It was so close, and so many things could have changed there in that last game. You think back to Rock and the way that they had that trap set up at the lumber yard, and if Twisted Minds makes a different decision, if they go a different direction, maybe they don't get a player through that long and get around that bridge and get into safety and get those extra points. But still, so many teams up there at the top fighting for it at the end. The Expendables, what a run they made here today to make us believe that maybe they were going to find another championship. And Delwyn just stressed. What a tough game for them.
So much heart in this lobby. Everybody fighting for every point that they can get. But look, the adulation, the smiles, finally feeling like they managed to get it on the big stage. Walking out, these guys deserved it. This is an absolutely nuts finish for Twisted Minds. Every step mattering. They had to do some crazy rotations. They had to fight their way in a big game in the last one, and it all comes down to this. Twisted Minds sitting down with Barney at the stage.
Ladies and gentlemen, in one of the closest finals we've ever had at an international LAN event, we have found our most dominant team here at the Esports World Cup. It is, of course, Twisted Minds. I can see that the emotion on your faces, the relief as well. So let's just make this fun, shall we? Batulins, Perfectix, Lou, an example. The first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to invite our Keymaster onto the stage. Dominic. Dominic, can you come on out, please? He's going to hand you your key. This is your key right here. Show it to the camera. Look how sparkly it is. Look how amazing it is. There you go. That's the part that says your name. Of course, of course. Right. Like I said, this is the fun bit, okay? Perfectix. How you doing, man? You good? I'm not good. No words, no words. So we'll just get cracking, shall we? Perfectix, the first thing I'm going to get you to do, my friend, is I'm going to get you to turn on the engine of the Crusher. Just twist the key, my friend. Just twist it right now to the right. Twist that key. All of you together. Okay. Of course, you'll feel the engines turning on underneath your feet. You'll feel the rumblings. Okay. You get to crush 15 keys, guys. This is pretty cool. Example. I'm going to get you to lift that, and I'm going to get you to flick the switch. Lift it up. Flick that switch. Flick the switch. Push it. There you go. That's going to open up the iris and show all those menacing teeth that's going to chomp up those keys. Okay. Batulins, I think it's only fair that I get you to press that button. Okay, hold on, hold on, hold on. In 3, 2, 1. Crush those keys! That right there has got to have felt good. Example, did that feel good?
So good.
So good! The emotions going through Example, I love it. Right, now that all of your opponent's keys have been destroyed and only yours is left intact, you have one more job to do. I need you to walk over there. I need you to be raised onto the platform, place that key in the middle of the trophy, and cement your legacy as champions by lifting it up and showing everyone, and just soak in the moment. Congratulations, Twisted Minds. Over you go. Follow that road. Ladies and gentlemen, your PUBG champions at the 2025 Esports World Cup, Twisted Minds!